If you told someone Mob Psycho 100 is an anime about a middle schooler with god-tier psychic powers, you'd be right. But you'd also be missing the point. Because Mob Psycho 100 isn't really asking what you would do if you had infinite power. It's asking something way more uncomfortable. Who are you when you're not using your power to define yourself? And that's why this show hits so hard for many people, especially me. It's not a power fantasy. It's a growth story about emotions, identity, self-worth, and learning to live as a whole person. Today I want to break down what Mob Psycho 100 teaches us, without pretending it's a self-help book. Just the lessons it keeps repeating through Mob, Rain, and everyone who collides with them. So let's get into it. Mob's problem is never that he's too weak. It's that he's disconnected from himself. He's terrified that if he actually expresses what he feels, anger, sadness, jealousy, even love, he'll hurt someone. So he does what a lot of people do in real life. He chooses numbness. And the show visualizes that with the percentage meter. Not as a cool power gauge, but as a warning label. Because when you don't process your emotions, you don't become calm. You become pressurized. That's a real psychological idea. It is. Emotional suppression doesn't erase feelings. It tends to make them leak out in other ways. Stress, irritability, dissociation, impulsive behavior, or eventually an explosion. Mob Psycho just turns that into literal psychic catastrophe. So lesson number 1 is simple, but brutal. Mob's powers are the most obvious thing about him, and the thing he wants to matter the least. And that's one of the healthiest messages in the series. Your standout trait, your talent, your intelligence, your looks, your accomplishments, it doesn't automatically make you valuable. Mob meets people who build their entire identity around being special. Psychics who want admiration, leaders who want control, people who need to be seen as powerful because without that, they don't know who they are without their power. Mob's dream is almost the opposite. I want to improve, but not as a psychic, as a person. That's the show reminding us that the identity built on performance is fragile. Because if your self-worth is the I'm only lovable when I'm impressive, then the moment you fail, or the moment someone else outshines you or does better than you collapse. Mob is trying to build a self that survives that. A self that still matters even when nobody's clapping. And that leads to the second lesson. Mob treats emotions like hazards. Sadness is dangerous. Even desire feels dangerous because wanting something means you can be rejected. So he tries to be good by being blank. But the show keeps showing the cost. When you don't let yourself feel, you don't just lose pain. You lose joy, connection, motivation, and even your sense of self. In modern mental health language, this is the difference between regulation and suppression. Regulation is, I feel this, I can handle it, I choose what to do next. Suppression, on the other hand, is, I refuse to feel this, and then your body and behavior pay the bill later on. Mob Psycho's message is, feeling something doesn't make you a bad person. What you choose to do matters. And that's why Mob's journey isn't get rid of emotions. It's learning to say, this is anger, this is fear, this is love, and I can still act with care. Which brings us to the most unexpected teacher in the whole series. Reagan is complicated. He lies, he scams, he's a mess. But he might be the moral center of the show. Because Reagan keeps telling Mob a theme the series repeats constantly. Having power doesn't make you superior. Reagan's worldview is basically everyone is special in some way. Some people are naturally athletic. Some people are socially gifted. Some people are smart or lucky or charismatic. Psychic power is just another advantage. And if you build your identity on advantage, you're one bad day away from becoming cruel. Reagan pushes a surprisingly grounded ethic. What matters is how you treat people. Not how strong you are, not how feared you are, not how admired you are. And that's why even Reagan is not a traditional good adult. He gives Mob something Mob desperately needs. Permission to be human without being a weapon. Now we get to the core lesson. The one the entire story is driving towards. A lot of stories frame growth like this. You defeat your dark side. You overcome your weakness. You become a cleaner, simpler, more heroic version of yourself. Mob's cycle goes the other way. Mob's turning point is not becoming pure. It's becoming whole. Because Mob isn't split into good Mob and bad Mob. He's split into the part he shows the world and the part he's afraid of. And the show makes it clear that that hidden part doesn't go away. It's still him. Real maturity is being able to say, yes, I can be angry. Yes, I can be jealous. Yes, I can want things. Yes, I can be hurt. And I'm still responsible for my choices. That's what integration looks like. Not pretending you're above messy emotions, but learning to carry them without letting them drive the car. So what do we actually do with this in real life? If Mob Psycho 100 teaches one practical lesson, it's this. 1. Stop treating your emotions like inconveniences. They're signals. If you keep muting them, they'll come back louder. 2. Don't build your self-worth on your power. Your best trait can't be the only reason you deserve respect, including from yourself. 3. Aim for kindness as a skill, not as a vibe, not as an aesthetic, as a deliberate practice. 4. Work toward being whole, not being perfect. You don't win by deleting the parts of you that feel too intense. You win by understanding them and choosing your actions anyway. That's it. That's the key. Mob Psycho 100 is basically a story where the final boss is repression, and the victory isn't domination. It's acceptance. So that's it. If you want to drop a comment about what moment in Mob Psycho 100 hit you personally, please do. And if you enjoyed this kind of anime meets life analysis, subscribe, because I've got more coming in the future, so stay tuned for that and more. And I'll be seeing you next time. Take care.